James Wiseman, 30-piece career high last night in Brooklyn in, I don't know if you want to call it an NBA game, but a basketball game. No. You know, some people get frustrated who just follow the YouTube channel. They're like, oh, you want to shit on somebody and you want to say this, but then you don't address when this happens. And listen, on my Patreon, I cover every Warrior game. I address the season as it comes, every game. But sometimes I don't have time to hop on and do double videos in one day and stuff like that. And so I'm going to release my breakdown of last night's game here on YouTube in this video. That's what you're going to see. Now, for YouTube's sake, I put a filter over it. There's lines and squiggly. It's a little zoomed in. If you are a member of my Patreon, you get it in clear, normal NBA broadcast. Yeah, man. I mean, it was a positive night for James Wiseman, right? The context being it was pretty much 3/4 of garbage time. And so some people, hearing feedback already that I wasn't being fair to him in this breakdown, but I didn't want y'all to think that I was running from the take and what happened last night. I address every game and everything as it comes, and it can only be thought of as a positive, even if there wasn't much resistance and it wasn't a intense game with resistance. It still I think lent itself to the theory that they aren't using him right offensively, right? And so without further ado, here is today's breakdown of yesterday's game. Again, a little different, though, than my normal breakdowns, which are usually longer and more about a competitive game, right? So it wasn't a traditional breakdown, but I wanted to give y'all my take on what I saw from Wiseman last night. So here it is. My official James Wiseman apology video is here. Well, not quite. I mean, this wasn't a basketball game last night, y'all. They led by 40-plus points for the majority of this game. And so in a G League-like environment, James Wiseman thrived. No, I want to highlight his performance last night, the positives and the realistic takeaways from what happened in, I don't really want to call it a basketball game, but a showcase last night in Brooklyn. Let's start with Kuminga on the ball trying to create. Those are the reps he needs. I know he had turnovers and he struggled against their length and athleticism, but I think he has real triple-double potential. And I know that's a dirty word because it doesn't always mean something, but his ability to play, make, rebound, and score, it's there. He's just got to hone it. For instance, here you see we've got 2 players behind the play, right? We don't have, quote, numbers. And that's why you always see Steph telling guys, come on. He wants the numbers. And Kuminga doesn't wait for the numbers. And so when he attacks, it's really a 3-on-5 and it's another turnover. But again, the only way to figure that out is reps and making those mistakes. Brooklyn, did they shoot 80% from 3 in this first quarter? It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And at a certain point here, the coaching staff has to take responsibility for the fact that we are the worst team defending the three-point line in the league, in the 3-ball era, the era we created. Fam, why does KD shit look like the neighbor who doesn't keep up their front lawn? I just want to park an old Buick or Cadillac on this shit at this point. I mean, is he trolling us? It's inappropriate. No, but what we're seeing is, in theory, we always knew his game would age so well, and it has. The size, the skill, the length, he just makes it look easier than anybody in the league. And then the White Ranger checked in, Watanabe shooting 70% on corner threes. James Wiseman, okay, I like this. I don't think KD was ready for him to attack, but a strong move with the right hand, I'll take it. Good play, kid. Here, you can watch his body and his mind. He's a beat late. He turns. Oh, there it is. But he's still so long and athletic, he gets the ball. But what I think he did best last night was run the floor. He ran the floor really hard and well. Kuminga pressing. Remember, he went to high school in New Jersey. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. The terminology that needs to be communicated with a big 7-footer is protect the basket, as simple as it sounds, meaning don't get out of position. Don't get caught up trying to stay in front of a guy. Just meet him at the basket. And that's what Bogut was so good at and what all good shot blockers are good at. Here's a good seal and finish. But again, we need context, people. Royce O'Neal is 6'4", 6'5" maybe on a good day. And then here, listen, again, a beat late defensively, but because of his length and athleticism, that's a contest you're going to live with. Just Brooklyn wasn't missing, and then this footwork is not even close, right? It's not even close. He's got to clean that up. Stop driving towards the pivot foot is what I'd say with these young guys. I think this is one of the keys for him moving forward and fixing his lack of timing is just use your length. Quick hop. That was very Brook Lopez. If you watch Brook Lopez operate, right, he doesn't jump much. He doesn't have to. That's what he's figured out. And Wiseman, if he can figure that out, it'll help his timing here. Simmons cutting across the paint in a zone, and you can see how late he is to recognize that. With his length, if he started to recognize things, man, it would be crazy. But another rim run off the made basket, and he catches it and finishes it. The rim running was the key to his success last night. Now, the lack of hands did show up several times, and what I'd say is watch how he waits for that ball to get to his hand. And what I'd tell him is go attack the ball. Go snatch the ball out of the air. Don't wait for it to touch your fingertips. And I'm not saying it would all of a sudden fix the issue, but I think it would help a little bit. Now, this looked awkward, but it also was an example of his touch around the basket. Now, we also got 23 minutes of PBJ last night, baseline cut, and he looks the part, man, just in frame and stature out there, in competitive spirit. Ben Simmons, like I said, he looked all right. If I'm the Nets, though, I'm not trying to restore him to all-star form. I'm trying to just string together some healthy games and trade him at the deadline. I think he's shown us who he is when it matters and the spotlight's bright. Here's a good view of PBJ moving his feet, staying with KD. Kuminga helps. It still doesn't matter. Slim with the tilted brim. Look at Baldwin bobble the catch, still reload and splash the three, and you can see his right shooting thumb is still taped up. He sprang that all the way back in preseason. Kuminga, he doesn't need moves here. And the sooner he picks it up, the sooner he can change direction and get his footwork right, just like what Poole is starting to figure out. And again, I'm not trying to shit on a very positive night for Wiseman, but look at this play. The context matters. They were up 30 and they had stopped playing probably after the first quarter. Poole's big bag of luggage just spilled everywhere on the floor last night. I don't know if he was trying to show off for Kyrie or what. Wiseman got to the line 4 times. Here he is getting held on the roll with the guard switch again. And so if teams are willing to do that, maybe it's something he can take advantage of, rolling aggressively. And then the trail 3 ball. And you know I've pointed this out from the jump. Why don't they let him shoot that? Particularly that trail one that the shooting centers shoot. It makes no sense, right? And then this happens. Kuminga with an awkward step. Looks like he may have hyperextended the knee or ankle or something. It didn't look great, but he stayed in the game. I haven't heard anything about it moving forward. They do have 3 days off here. Look at this defense from Poole here, though. This is a benchable offense, even in a 50-point blowout. Like, it's inexcusable, fam. I don't know what to say. Here's a nice cut from Kuminga with one dribble, and it allows him to pick up and slice across the paint. This definitely looked like Lamb could have put this over the top to Wiseman here, and I've seen people complain about them not passing to him. I think they don't trust him catching the ball, to be honest with you. And then we got a Patrick Baldwin explosion. Someone had asked me to compare him to Michael Porter Jr., and they're the same archetype. Now, I think Porter Jr. is a much more explosive athlete, or was, perhaps, but it's the same thing. That size and pure release, you can get it whenever you want. I loved there was no back down from Kuminga on KD. He was just in his shit all night, even though he lost pretty much every battle. He forced the backcourt violation there, and again, he's always shot ready, and he doesn't need any space. Now, this to me was the most interesting play from Wiseman all night long. On the perimeter, off the dribble, kind of big boys, Markieff Morris, and gets the and one, and it just feeds into the theory that they're certainly not using him right offensively and letting him face up. I'm not saying that we need a heavy dose of this, but that was the most confident move I may have ever seen from him, and it was faced up from the perimeter. Seth Curry has been dealing with injuries all season long and is a name out there on the trade block. I don't know what's in the water in Brooklyn, but he's losing the roof too. His texture looked like armpit hair. But listen, Baldwin's stroke looks so pure, and so prolific that I don't even know if he has to defend, right? He looks competitive enough on that end. And then for Wise, if it's up, then it's up. He's got to keep his hands up. We know he's not going to time the contest properly, so the hands just got to stay up. Here's Ty passing to Wiseman finally. And I ain't going to lie, Ty getting a little shot happy, but I think he also smelled the garbage time. And he's been a little more aggressive offensively than I think he probably should be. But seeing where we're at right now with the roster, I don't blame him. There he is again, late coming over. And again, Patty Mills on him. And to his credit, he got aggressive and got himself to the line. More hands issues. Again, snatch the ball. Don't wait for it into your hand. Someone made a great suggestion of having him play ping pong. Maybe that would help. And then I had to throw this in there because you know I give my guy a lot of grief for his bounce. How about Moses, Michael Jordan, Moody turning the corner? And then this happens. Watch Baldwin Jr. go down here. Just a bad step. He didn't step on a foot. And that is the left ankle that caused the surgery, the dislocation, and all his issues all the way dating back to high school. Now, he stayed in the game, but he was clearly hobbled. And you knew that was the risk with the pick, right? Clearly, he's lottery talent. It's his body. And so credit to him for staying in the game. But we're already seeing durability issues, and he hasn't even really played, right? The thumb and now that. I don't know. We'll just have to monitor. Here's an ISO post-up. I heard TK and Slater talking about how Ryan Rollins has been a disappointment, and he just doesn't look like he can play. I don't think that's fair right now. He hasn't gotten any opportunity. He's not a rebounding hustle guy like Anthony Lamb who spots up. He's an on-ball guard. He needs minutes to actually get comfortable and play. So I don't agree with that quite yet. He just hasn't got the opportunity. Wise, again, out on the perimeter, confidently trying to attack. What does Lucas say? Everybody's a tough guy when they're winning, right? That's what it kind of felt like with KD and Kyrie kind of beating their chest last night in this game, where I don't know how you're really gloating about beating this team last night. Wiseman, the final touch here to get the 30-piece. Now, there are going to be fans who are going to remove the context of those numbers and beat their chest as they campaign for Wiseman. Fine, so be it, right? I'm not going to rain on y'all's parade because it was a positive night for James Wiseman last night, no matter how you slice it. And I just got done yesterday talking about he has no value. Well, last night, if you were another team, maybe you could say to yourself, hey, I could work with that. Like maybe they aren't using him right. It definitely fed to that theory of like they're not using him right, but we also have to add the context that it was a 40-point blowout and they really weren't guarding him. So I'd say he probably scored 12 to 15 legit points where it was like, okay, that was something, right? And hey, that was something. So we got 3 days off and then this showdown with Memphis on Christmas. I'm out, y'all.